Well, hi there, David. This is Kim Willis again. And after we had that talk the other day over the phone, I thought it would be a good idea to do something nice. And what I've got for you is this little review video. It's a site review video. It's not an exhaustive review of your website, of course. I'm mainly looking at the messaging side of things, because if you're getting visitors to your website every month, and I know you are, it's absolutely critical that you get the messaging is spot on. If it is, your conversions are going to improve, no doubt. You're going to get you're going to win more business, no question about it. So here it is. I've got some good ideas for you, I think, and I certainly hope that you really like them, and look forward to getting some feedback in the near future. All right, enjoy this video. Okay, I'm on the home page, obviously, and just note that you've got 5 tabs there on your navigation bar. I'll talk about that as well, but let's just have a quick look at the general layout here. Not much in the way of design elements on this website. You know, that's fine. I guess it depends on whether you're wanting to kind of project brand values, what kind of subliminal messages you're wanting to convey to your audience, to people who visit the site. That's something that you might want to discuss at some point. You kind of, well, you have a logo. I assume this is the logo, but it doesn't quite look like a logo. I'm a bit unsure about it, but and then you've got yeah, you've just got kind of a straight standard font here for the actual company name. You've just got just in terms of the colour for the company name there. You just got white on that bluish background. I'll just say, look, I'm not a branding expert, but for sure, but normally if you've got the company name there would be a specific font that would be kind of a little bit unique to for your business, and that you'd have a special color, and then that color would be on everything, letterheads, business cards, the whole thing, right? It's particularly important, I think, if you've got a really good logo, and you know you've got those the font style, and this specific color that's unique to your business. It's important if you're wanting to attract better quality businesses who pay you more money. Branding values do make a difference. So that's all I'll say there. Now, in terms of the layout, you've got a standard. I'm not sure it's complete. I'm not sure it's standard, but you've got a two-column format here, and you've got a very wide left-hand column and rather a narrow right-hand column. This is okay, but if you're putting in, if you're including client testimonials and mini case histories and things like that, and you're putting them into the right-hand side, to me it kind of devalues them. And if it was me, I'd be putting them front and center. In fact, just going back to what I said initially regarding your navigation bar, I would probably have a separate page just for client stories, mini case histories, testimonials, etc. Maybe even 2 pages, one for case histories, one for testimonials. It's that important, and people will look at it as well. They will. If they see testimonials or case studies, customer stories, etc., they will look at it, because they're looking for validation, aren't they? They're looking for confidence. They want to have confidence in you. And so this is your time to shine. This is your time to demonstrate competence. And that's a critical issue for all businesses, but particularly in the services-related business, and particularly when it revolves around technology. They're looking for competence. So you've got to do everything you can to demonstrate competence, and competence breeds confidence. Okay. Now you've got a welcome aboard section here. What if there wasn't going to be any change to the strategy, the broad messaging strategy? In other words, you were just going to basically leave these sections on the home page. And the reason why I say this is because there is a case that maybe ought to be considered, and that is that at least some of this text should go to another page. But if you go maintain the same strategy by having all of this kind of content on this page, what I'm going to suggest that you break the text up a bit, and then give each of the mini sections. So instead of having two sections here, you've got the welcome section and the why clandestine solutions section, and of course you've got your logos and stuff down there. I might break this up a little bit into 3, possibly 4 mini sections, and then give each mini section a benefit-laden headline. Okay, so you want the headline, or we call the sub-headline. You want the sub-headline to kind of encourage people to read the text. People are lazy, and sometimes they don't want to read the text, but you can almost seduce them into reading the text if you give them a good subheading. So we want to break the text up so it appears less wordy. We want to give the prominent mini sections a heading, a headline, a benefit-laden headline that will seduce them into reading the copy. Okay. If you want to get a bit of inspiration or some ideas in terms of the kind of skills or the kind of effectiveness of headline writing, just pick up a newspaper. Pick up the Australian newspaper, or the Courier Mail, or whatever, and have a look at their headlines. They are masters in terms of getting people's attention, and it starts with the headlines. A very, very important aspect, and a lot of business owners, particularly smaller businesses, they underestimate the importance of the headline. They underestimate the potency, the potential potency that you can get from having good headlines. So that's that. Now, another thing I would do is I'd break up the paragraphs. These paragraphs are too big, particularly this one. Okay. Now, having a welcome message on the home page is quite a good idea. The real purpose of the home page, there's a couple of things that we want to do with the home page. We don't want to put too much information on the home page. If you've got additional information, okay, that's more specialized, you'd put that to its own page, okay, and then you direct people to that. So on your home page, you might have a short welcome message. You might have just a very brief summary of the key reasons why they should choose Clandestine Solutions. And then what you want to do is you want to direct them to the other pages where they might have specific interest. Okay, so you'd have some links to other pages. So the home page is really a directing kind of a page, right? It's not the page to where you're going to give them all the information about your services, etc. And I know you understand that because you do have other pages anyway. But you might want to consider having an about page, okay? And if you have an about page, you would put something like the 𝗦𝗨𝗕𝗦𝗬𝗀 solutions content on that home page, or at least an expanded version of that. I would actually do a lot more. In fact, I've written a kind of significant blog post on the about page and how important it is, because people will go to the about pages. It's a much visited page on a typical website. So I would definitely have a look at that blog post, and then from that you'll probably get some ideas. But in a way, you are directing people to the other information. So you've got this little sentence here: to find out more about our custom software development, visit our software development page, the details. So you're doing that, so it's good. Another thing that I like is the way you're opening with a question. You're not including too much jargon into your copy, into your text, which is good, because a lot of these IT kind of sites, they've got too much jargon. And okay, you're in the IT business, but at the end of the day, a business that is considering using a firm, a company in the IT sector, they don't necessarily want to wade through a whole bunch of jargon, particularly on the home page. So it's good that you've kind of simplified it there. But what I'd be doing is I would be breaking up the text. I'd be giving some of it some sub-headlines. For instance, here you've got Clandestine Solutions is an Australian-owned engineering professional services company and has been operating since 2014. Our main focus is helping clients get the right solution by combining both software and hardware. However, we also work on either side, thus providing businesses with a greater flexibility and range of solutions. All right, that sentence to me is too long. I'd want to break it up into two sentences and reword it just a touch. You've got another here, another quite a long sentence. We architect and implement a wide range, blah blah. Okay, so that's another longish sentence. People, particularly in the internet age, they've got short attention spans. So as I said before, we have to kind of seduce them to read the copy with good benefit-laden subheadings, and then when they actually read the copy, it needs to be interesting copy, well written, compelling, informative, shortish paragraphs, and reasonably short sentences. So just a couple more tips there. And look, I'm in two minds. This is just stream of consciousness stuff at the moment. I haven't yet to come to a kind of a concrete conclusion. Would take more time, but I'm in two minds as to whether, like, this paragraph here should go to a separate about page. And so if you did that, the home page would just simply be a welcome page. Would just be a welcome message, maybe just 4 bullet points as to why businesses should choose you, and then direct them to the other relevant pages, which might include a testimonial page. You might be able to see with the testimonials you've got here. If I had my own testimonial page for this business, or if I created one, or if you created one, I would expand the testimonials a bit. I like the idea of developing a testimonial story, and ideally it would include the logo for the business, so you give them a bit of a leg up there. I know you've got the logos down here anyway, that's fine. But I'd build a little bit of a testimonial story. I'd open it with my own text, and then I would quote the testimonial, or I'd take elements from the testimonial that they've given you. But I'd build a bit of a story around it, okay? And the story would feature part or all of the testimonial itself, but I'd lead into the testimonial with some kind of a narrative. So I'd say something like, well, 𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗧𝗏 Physio came to us because they had this problem, and it was really starting to frustrate them. And then you kind of talk about that problem a little bit, and then you'd say something about this is how we solve the problem. Okay, just very briefly, we solved it by doing this, this, and this, and here is what the owner of 𝗪𝗲𝗯𝘀𝗵𝗏𝗧𝗔 said about our ability to give them a great result, something like that. Okay, and then you might have a photograph or two. In fact, I would have a photograph or two. I would also have a headline up there. I'd have a headline for each testimonial story. The testimonials, the customer stories, and the mini case histories, they are so important. And you can take a little story and turn it into something special and exciting, something that really almost inspires visitors to your site to take action. Now, there's something else that I want to say about the home page, and indeed for every page, but particularly for the home page. You've essentially got two kinds of people who visit your website. The first type of person is somebody that needs information before they make an inquiry. Okay, so obviously you want to give them that information, and you've got those two pages, software development page and electronics development page. Fine, and you're directing them to those pages as well. But if you had separate client story page or a testimonial page, or a separate mini case history page, you want to direct them to that too. So they're looking for more information. On the other hand, you will probably find that there is another type of person that visits, and they're almost ready to make an inquiry. And if they're not, a quick browse through, a quick look through the different pages, particularly if you've got those enhanced testimonial pages with enhanced testimonial stories and custom stories, etc. Maybe within 5 minutes they're saying, no, I like this, I really like the look of this, I'm ready to make an inquiry. So what I would do is that I would have a customer inquiry form on every page, and particularly on the home page. And that inquiry form could act as a mini survey. So you would be asking customers what about their need, about their problem, what solution are they wanting to get from engaging a company like yours. Okay, and so that's a way to pick up some inquiries. You do it with the inquiry form, a fully formatted inquiry form, and you'd have it on the right-hand side. Another thing I would probably do is that I would make the right-hand column a little wider and make the left-hand column a little narrower. Okay, so it might be kind of down there a little bit. Having a very wide text box like this, once again, not so good from a reader's point of view. I would definitely look at making this a little less wide, making this a little wider, and particularly if you're going to put in a customer inquiry form, you want the inquiry form to be more prominent, and because it's a lead generation device, really, and you want it to be more prominent. And so I'd probably give it more width. Okay. Now, the other point that I want to make is that I think it's important to be very, very clear about the typical problems that your audience experiences. So we need to be clear about that, and then we need to be able to articulate those problems. Okay. And so on the home page, I would, other than just a very brief welcome message, I would really be talking about the problems that they're experiencing. People are motivated to seek solutions when they're experiencing pain and discomfort. And I know that your audience, your ideal client, the type of people you deal with, they have problems. They have frustrations. So why not highlight the problems and then highlight how you can help solve those problems? Not by going into some great technical explanation, but the kind of method that I like to use is to highlight the problem, then offer a conceptual solution to the problem, and then, if it was appropriate, highlight some sort of a technical solution, or rather than going into a lot of technical detail, just highlight the conceptual solution, and then maybe just list out a few things that you could do in bullet point form, something like that. You could do some of this on your software development page and on your electronics development page. I'm not saying that you would necessarily do all of it on the home page, but if you can really remind people of their pain, of their problem, talk their language, so that when they read it, they think, that's exactly what I need. That's what you want them to say to themselves. They're thinking, wow, this company, this business is the one for me, because they really have kind of honed in on the issue that I'm facing right now. And there may be multiple issues, and you could feature a few of them on the home page. It's really important that we do this, because it's all part of talking the language of the niche, and what they're looking for are solutions to problems, better ways of doing things, enhanced outcomes. And if we get the messaging right, well, they're going to want to do business with us. We're just going to knock it out of the park. They're even going to get excited about what you can do for them. Now let's have a quick look at the software development page. I'm not going to do an in-depth here, but just a quick thing here. Over on the right, you've got our projects in that very narrow column. As I said before, I would really have this on its own separate page, or a mini case history page or something like that, and I'd really flesh out a story here. I would turn each of these into really great customer stories. Some businesses go one step further, and they add a blog. So every time, the thing that is so attractive about a blog is that they're probably the premier tool in terms of picking up free traffic from search engines. That's the first thing. But the second thing is, because content can be easily added on a regular basis to the blog, you've got the latest stories coming up. So every time you've got a new story, you add it to the blog. And then people will read the blog, and if it's well written, if you've got good headlines and all the rest of it, you're going to be persuading people more effectively to do business with you. So by all means, have a case history page, a mini case history page, a customer story page, or whatever. And if you do it that way, you would expand the stories here. See, the 𝗦𝗨𝗕𝗏 story, I would want to build a complete narrative around it.